What is up, everybody? Welcome to another live Pendergast podcast. And this episode is brought to you by Bison. Listen, guys, you already know the deal. Why would you buy an off-the-rack suit that's going to hinder you in some way of your riding, right? Because it's going to fit you good in some areas, but it's not going to fit you perfect everywhere. So when you're riding a bike, you're not going to have that free movement. When you can get a full custom suit, tailored made just for you from Bison, any colors, any logos you want on it, chest protector, gloves, undersuit, the whole nine. Even if you was just in the market for a jacket, again, don't buy an off the rack jacket when you get a full custom one made again by Bison. Listen, they're the best in the business. Go to bison.com and you guys can use the discount code Gas 2024 and get 10% off of everything. But listen, it's an absolute honor to sit down with my mate Bailey Harker on the podcast today. What is going on?
Not very much. Thank you very much for having us on. It's a pleasure.
Oh man, mate, the honor's all mine for sure. Absolutely. So, man, what's been going on?
Not really too much, just working away, racing away, trying everything we can to make the dream a reality.
Absolutely. So, listen, Bailey, with that, let's get into the story from your humble beginnings on your first experience on two wheels.
But it's actually weird, like my story didn't actually start with the two wheel side of things. When I was growing up, obviously, we've never really been fortunate with the money, but obviously, I just love racing in general. And my granddad actually got me into grass go-karting, which is very rare. Like, there's only certain places, it's only really in Lincolnshire what do it. I mean, there's a few in like New Zealand and stuff. It's a very niche sort of thing. So my upbringing was really obviously doing that, where we was actually quite successful. I think in the 5 years I did it, I won four championships in the 70s and 90s, the 125s, and that, and about it wasn't until about I think it was late 2016, but we actually, but obviously I always had like little motocrosses and that, but never anything to like to get into racing and be actually was looking at like switching across to the pit biking on the supermoto and that uh, because we got to a stage in the go-karting where there was no routes furthest forward in it. I was at a level where I couldn't go to the next category because of my age and everything. And then we ended up going down the route of the pit bikes, and it was quite weird because we went to a little go-kart track called Red Lodge to watch the British mini bikes, and we was in the paddock and just wandering around and been. Obviously, my uncle used to run a team like at club level and a bit at British like in the Super Sport or Super Stock 600 or whatever it were, and we actually bumped into one of his old riders and everything, and obviously we ended up then talking to them and buying their old bike, and that's really like how we got into the bike side of things.
That's awesome, man. So, once you got the bike, what was your next step in your adventure from there?
Literally, well, decided to come down and watch as a like the final of my grass karting sort of thing to like drop the bike and everything off for us. So obviously I won the championship that year, like at that meeting sort of thing. And then literally I think it was probably about uh two weeks later or something, we had already entered for like one of well, we entered like the last two rounds of the British Mini Bike Championship, and obviously we went in with no expectations really. 'Cause I've not really rid a bike properly before in anger, and literally the first lap I went out on it, I ended up crashing, and one of the lads I used to like speak to on like Instagram and that, I ended up taking him out. So that was a brilliant way to start our friendship, like first lap on track together, taking each other out sort of thing. But no, we didn't do too bad. But I think we around the top 15 in it or something. But we still had a lot to learn. Like everything was just that tense bolt upright where you like you're not actually moving or anything. You're letting the bike like you're trying to turn the handlebars instead of leaning and stuff like that. So it was a weird like step to like learn it all, but it was probably like one of the best experiences of my life.
Oh, for sure, Bailey. I couldn't imagine the transition going from karting and then getting on the mini bikes and learning the bikes, right? You'd be like, completely different.
Yeah, it's like it's even, but even though you're doing similar sort of speeds, it's your head like it's just so different in your mind because you go from one what's been rough terrain and that, and you only got like a sort of rear brake on it, and you're used to the thing sliding, and you counter steering and everything, and then you get to trying to like master like, oh, I need to brake here, and oh, everything feels like it's coming up so much faster. You got so much more to like try and set yourself up for a corner on a bike than you have the car, and it's just like a mass amount, like a massive culture shock, really, to begin with.
Oh, for sure. 110%. Like you're going from one sport to the other sport. They're complete opposites, right? But the people that love both the sports have the same amount of passion, whether it's two wheels or four wheels, especially Formula One. Was that original your goal, Bailey's like, man, I just want to be an F1 driver, or
No, never. I've never really watched any like F1 or car racing. It never really interested me. And it the main reason I did the go-karting because I was just wanted to race that much. It was just like the cheapest affordable thing what we could do at the time. And obviously my granddad, well, my mum's dad, used to do like the like stock cars and like banger cars over here around like the shale circuits and that. So that was always sort of like in with his background sort of thing. And then on my dad's side, obviously my dad's dad and my dad's brother all have like done racing or have been heavily involved. And then, well, a couple of years ago, my dad decided to have a go. But obviously, there's always bikes and sort of cars sort of thing, but obviously the bikes were always what interested me.
so? Let me ask you this: did you get two different feelings from racing a car versus racing a bike? I don't mean, of course, the feeling on riding a motorcycle is different than driving the car. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the adrenaline, the emotions you get. Are they pretty much on the same playing field, or are they different?
It's hard to say now. Like obviously, I've not done the karting now for a long while, but obviously at the time, I think because I was a kid, like it was both of them was like quite high up there because you could like at the ages what you are, you're doing something quite unnatural for being a kid. Like if you like most kids just wanted to play football and do stuff like that. So when you look at it, the aspect of like what everyone else is doing, you just was always on the buzz anyway. Like it didn't matter what you was doing as long as I was messing around with something that had an engine on. There's always that level of like adrenaline and just like sort of happiness sort of thing.
Absolutely right. I mean, motorcycles. um, there's no greater feeling than throwing your leg over a motorcycle. I don't care if it's a 100, a 50, an 80, whatever it is. You throw your leg over it, put the lid down, your visor down, put your goggles on, whatever it is you're doing. Um, it's the greatest feeling in the world. It's like the most freest you'll ever be, right? And your mind don't. I got ADHD, so my mind's always all over
Yeah,
the place.
I've got the same. I got a little bit of ADHD and a bit of autism and shit like
Yeah.
that, and it's just something like something what clicks inside you, or just like it makes you feel like not saying that you're not normal, but it makes you feel normal.
Now
Yeah,
I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah, it
yeah,
does. And you can actually think without your mind racing at on 500 different objects at one time. Yeah, it's the greatest feeling in the world. So listen, let's talk about where you are right now. Right. First of all, tell everybody what you do for a living.
so as my day-to-day job, I'm a welder fabricator engineer at a small company called Cubit Engineering. And it's like a brilliant little business. To be fair, everyone's so friendly and get on so well. And like, there's never like a bit where there's not enough work or anything. They've always like completely flat out. So I actually sometimes struggle like actually telling myself I need a weekend off to either go ride a bike or just relax to get into like just a calm state so I'm not wearing myself out that way.
No, yeah, 100%. And so, like out here, I work 6 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Thursday. So that's 10-hour shifts. What kind of shifts do you work at your job?
Well, usually, I see our standard days are supposed to be 9 hour days, but 9 times out of 10, but like it depends what happens really. You can have anywhere between like 12, 15 to 24 hour days sort of thing. It just depends, obviously, because we're uh quite in a like in the food industry and stuff like that, or agricultural and that. So obviously most of our work sort of within certain food factories can only be done at night sort of thing. So most of the time we'll do like the stuff what we can in the workshop in the day and then go do an extra shift at night and that to get that sort of done. But like some of the stuff you can do where it's an urgent breakdown, so you can be there probably like 24 to 36 hours or whatever it is, like just whatever you need to do to get it done. And obviously um sometimes obviously you're not with the rules and that you're not really supposed to do like them long hours, but obviously most of us just like get on with it because there's not a lot else you can do sort of thing.
Yeah, no, yeah. And obviously, your job's pretty lenient with your race schedule when you do race.
Yeah, to be fair, obviously I've only been at the company just 6 months now sort of thing, and they're fantastic with it. Really, obviously, we're not. Obviously, it's different. We've not been as busy like race wise as what we have done in the past and everything. But I've never really been to a job where they're not allowed me to have the time off. They've always been very understanding and that, and I think that's what really helps me like stop at a job because if they wasn't like understanding, I wouldn't sort of be there sort of thing. I because like without racing, I'm not being funny. There'd be nothing for me like sort of here. Like I'd be very very bored. I need that like the buzz of it, and but I've thought of that and tried. Like last year, we nearly had a year out, but we just couldn't do it. So we ended up still doing a few bits of racing and that, and you realise then, like in that tough like little period we had, it was just like I need to be doing this, and thankfully, like Toby, my boss, he's like been really understanding of it. He's been letting me have time off, and like I went through after the first Oliver's Mount this year, I got into a little bit of a bad situation, sort of thing. I weren't quite right. I was my body was making itself ill. I just felt uh like stuff was like dragging me down, and he come out to me and spoke in the workshop. He could see something weren't like 100% right, and he went, right, just book yourself on a track day, just get out on your bike and go sort of thing. And obviously I've never had that before. Obviously the worst part was obviously the bike was broken, so I couldn't get out get out on it anyway. But obviously just having that support like that from like a boss is like the most I could ask for, really.
No, yeah, that's the most anybody can ask for. That's proper mega for sure. That's absolutely. I had my old job I was at for 8 years. It went out of business, but my boss was like that with me. As far as the podcast go, one of our buildings we actually was at, I could actually do them there. So I'd be like, hey man, I got a podcast at 12 or 1 or whatever. He'd be like, okay, and I do it at work. And then when we moved to our other building before it went out of business, the Wi-Fi there was just absolutely horrible. So he allowed me to come home, do my podcast, and then go back. But I would stay late to make up my hours, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good to have people like that behind you and support you and help you want to see you visualize your dreams, right? So yeah, man, that's awesome, man. So did you work actually in the BSB paddock before or as a
Uh,
mechanic?
so so well, I s- but it really come like from back in COVID. Yeah, no, the year after COVID. It would have, what was it?
21.
Yeah, 21. But like
Yeah.
the first like near enough full year of racing we had. Obviously, we used to. parking with my best mate Taylor Rose and that. So we was all racing together, and it come about. Obviously, he broke his neck at Snetterton at the first round and that, and uh, obviously while he was recovering, he managed to get like a team was looking for a rider, and that. So by the time he was fully fit, he had a test with them. And then he's just like, "Oh, I need a mechanic. Would you like fancy like coming down and just like helping us, sort of thing?" And that for like the last 4 rounds, I think it were. So obviously we was both like young and stupid, sort of thing, and we was just like, yeah, we'll make it a good time, because obviously from what we had understood from the BSB paddock, it was all like, oh, curtains down, no one speaks to nothing. It's just like, well, you need that bit of like familiarity, sort of thing, a bit of like entertainment, like with yourself, if you're not got like other people there to help you. But obviously now being in the paddock for a couple of years, obviously when you get to know people, and like everything's now a bit more finally open. But yeah, we I did I think we did the rest of 21 with that team, and then it was at Cadbull in 22 we ended up splitting with that team, and Taylor went and did set up his own sort of privateer, like R6 team and that, and this junior super stock. And then obviously, then I've actually obviously, because now I just work for Ash Barnes. Obviously, in 23, I was working for a bit for Taylor and obviously for Ash. But obviously Ash and Taylor had all grew up, like all started racing pit bikes at the same meeting, like our first time and that. So we've had that like bond from like a young age and everything. And then I was just randomly out on a night out in New Year's Eve in Lincoln, which is Ash's hometown. And went into one of the bars and I bumped into his mum and dad, and obviously we got talking and everything. And I was absolutely like bladdered out my head, sort of thing. Didn't remember much from the night, and then I get a message like a few days later. Oh, did you still want to help us out this year? We could really do it. And then it's just like, oh, can your dad help as well? So then obviously we went from just me helping Ash to having like a whole family back, sort of thing.
That's
And then
awesome.
yeah, so now we're in our second like full year with Ash, and we're actually getting somewhere as a team. We've had I think it's now 3 podiums, and I think it's 6 top 5s now with him. So everything's just like this year so far for me and him both racing are just like on a like all time high. It's like back from years like pit bike racing. So
That's
it's just
awesome.
really good.
It
Yeah.
it's very good. So tell everybody what the name of the team is and what bikes you guys race.
So with Ash, it's Raceways Yamaha, and that's which were obviously Steve Rogers who runs the team. He was McCann's Yamaha last year, so he's running Ash on the R7. And then for my team, and that is obviously just Bailey Harker Racing, and they're running a Honda CB 500 and a Kawasaki Super Twin on the roads and that. So that's just privately funded by me and my dad, sort of thing. We don't get much help, but we've got a little bit of help from some very good loyal sponsors, and that's we're just doing the best we can, sort of thing. And this year, this sort of it's like we're at the top of our game.
I love it. I love it. So listen, we got to talk about Oliver's Mount, right? I've never been there. I want to go. What's it like riding Oliver's Mount?
It's it's definitely something. It's one of a kind, sort of thing. Like you get there, and but you've been to Cadwell. You've seen how wide Cadwell is. It makes Cadwell look like it's a Grand Prix circuit.
No way.
Yeah, it's
Holy
tight. It's
shit.
yeah. Literally, obviously, I've always wanted to do the road racing. We was planning on doing it when we was on the 600 before COVID struck, but then obviously it's kind of a godsend that COVID did happen, because once I got there and rode, I was just like, there's no way I would have survived this on a 600 at the time. But yeah, it's literally an unreal feeling because you've got no runoff at all. You just got
Listen,
hedges and that.
everybody listen to this. Y'all know I went to Cadwell Park. Bailey's always been there multiple times, and I'm telling you, it's this wide. That's the first thing I said. I was like, "Holy shit! Look how narrow it is." It. So, Bailey, you'd say, uh, Cadwell Park might be 10 feet wide, maybe.
Yeah, I don't really know, like, obviously, like how wide it is, but you definitely struggle to get two cars side by side around it, and there's definitely some sections of it where you can't get two cars side by side. So
Mm-mm. No, it's not. So Oliver's Mount, if it's narrower than that, it's like, yeah, that blows my mind. That's
yeah, it is tiny, like, and it's such a challenging track as well, because it's so up and down, and like literally, like, your back straight ain't a straight. It's like, well, obviously the back straight at Cadwell's not straight; it's a giant curve sort of thing. But this is like you're going down the back straight, and obviously you're going from hedgerow to grass to hedgerow sort of thing. Just how it keeps. Obviously, you're going in a straight line, but it's just far from like anything like what you could ever do. Like, it's mental because you'll be in the slipstream with someone, you'll be going to go for a pass, and then obviously how the track comes, you've got to roll off because obviously you both your lines just sort of come together sort of thing. But it definitely, even though the average lap speed ain't that high, I think it's, I don't really know what it is. I think the Super Twins are like 80 mile an hour or something average around there. But the sense of speed you get through it, because everything's just so close to you, it's unreal.
I guarantee it. It's almost like Star Wars when they go into was it hyperdrive or whatever it
Yeah,
is, and all of a sudden it's just like yeah, I couldn't yeah, because everything's so close and so narrow and there's no runoff. So it's trees and mailboxes and yeah, all that cool shit, right? That's what I
yeah,
said, Bailey. You're an absolute legend, man. Anybody that does that's just you
not right
guys
in the head.
no, you guys are absolutely right in the head. You're just
Yeah.
how do I want to say this? You guys are proper mental in a good way, right? You think like we do, but there's something inside your natural instincts when you ride on a place like that where I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that, where you feel comfortable doing that, right? So that's the difference between, even though I love speed, you love speed, but when it comes to road racing like that, you're a whole nother level, right? It's you got to be precise, accurate, way so more than you do on a closed circuit track on the open roads. Um, and it's just what you guys do, Bailey. You're an absolute legend, bro, for real. So listen, we have a comment from my good mate Dustin Richards up here. He says, "What's up, guys?" He says, "You got to be on point for sure. They are in a league of their own, and it's calculated insanity. It is. It really is." Um, so listen, Bailey, I've asked other racers, like, man, would you ever do the TT? And most of them are like, hell no. There's very few of them. They're like, yeah, I do it. And of course, a lot of times their moms come on there and be like, not gonna happen, right? So how was your mom's feeling about you racing Oliver's Mount on the open roads like that?
She didn't have a choice.
Right, but she didn't like it neither, did she?
And I thought start, obviously, when we did first, like, when I first turned 18, and we did start talk I did starting to talk about it, like, there was both sort of like mum and dad were both dead against it, and then I just kept on going on about it and that, and then obviously eventually dad come round. He was just like, well, you're safe enough on the track, you're really smooth, like, riding style and everything, and that. And then I said, I turned around and said, like, but I'm gonna do it no matter what sort of thing. So they realised, well, if he's going to do it no matter what, we need to sort of like support him rather than have that like grudge, and that say like if anything happened, they'd regret not being like the support and everything. But no, they're really good about it now, and that's mum can't watch. She never really has been able to like watch properly, but yeah.
I guarantee it, right? My mom would be like, hell no, she didn't even want me to have a bike, but that's just mom being what moms do, protecting their everything. That's what I tell people. Yeah, man. So listen, let's talk about your 2023 season. How did that go?
But to be fair, like the 2023 season for me was very different. I started the year out like not really having any plans, not doing anything. I couldn't afford a lot. I decided to try and go down the flat track side of things. Did about 3 rounds of that. Realised that I could in race situations I'd over try and ride the bike and I'd end up and fall off and keep injuring my knees and everything. And then realize like obviously it's good training and that, and I think that's what has really made me good in the wet and that now. So I'm really happy in that and keep training on the flat track bikes. But we then decided to go to Oliver's for the first time. So the first time there, but no, it was actually a nightmare. My first ever race there. Did the warm up, like went to pull off for the race start, and the gear lever snapped. So like my first ever race, I didn't even make it like to the first corner sort of thing without like having to like pull off. So, but I well, it's sort of like the roads really change you as well, like your perspective of life and that. So obviously, mum come wandering back, probably like at the end of the race sort of thing to give me like chance to calm down, but. I was already sort of walking like to go find her and that, and I was like the calmest I've ever been. She's just like, where's my Bailey? Like, where's Egon? Where's that angry like kid and that? And I think the best bit of advice like we've ever been given is everything happens for a reason. We don't know what the reason is, but it happens, and you
Yeah.
just got to be grateful you're still here, sort of thing. But yeah, the rest of the meeting went pretty all right, to be fair. Like I think we was top five in the next two races and that, so it was good to sort of like kick off really where we left the 22 season off with some decent pace, and then uh, I think we had a couple months break. Well, we was only supposed to do the one Olivers, and then we was at Snetterton BSB, and obviously one of the supporters of Ash's team, James, who now works with us. He was just like, "Oh, go on, just do the last round, just do the last round. I'll come watch you and support you and everything." And then at the time, like at Snetterton, we had just got the Super Twin sort of thing. So but I was just like, I looked at Dad. I was just like, "Fuck it, just enter me into it. We'll do the 500 and the Super Twin sort of thing." And obviously, they had a main race and a support race. So at Oliver's, you only fit 22 on the grid, and there's 23 grid spots, but they don't run number 13 because of its bad luck. So we qualified 23rd out of like 40 riders or whatever it were. So that meant we just missed out on the main grid, and then went out in the first race on the Super Twin and went and won it by 7 seconds in dodgy conditions. But then, like the next day, the bike just would not work. We had a massive fueling problem; it was leaking and everything. So that was like really the story of our year. We went from doing nothing to winning a race, and then ending the year with a broken bike again.
Hey, that's part of racing, ain't it?
Yeah.
It sometimes it don't never go the way you want it to, or you plan it, at least the way you envision in your head. This is a question I have for you, Bailey. Like, how do you learn a circuit like Oliver's Mount? Obviously you watch on YouTube, right? But is it you go there and physically drive the course and learn it that way, or
I mean, you can do that. You can go up there anytime you want and drive it and that. But I was planning to, but then I just got lazy and ended up running out of time, and I was just like, ah. now it was like the week before, and I was just like, well, I can't really go up 2 weekends in a row. That's a lot of like money to sort of go do it. But obviously, I just watched loads of onboard videos, and you have as a newcomer on the roads, you have a mandatory track walk or track tour with a guide who who's like done it for years and that. So you go out there and he like tells you just like certain little bits that you'd never think of like thinking about. Say like, oh, the road slightly drops off here, sort of thing. So you want to be more on the left hand side of it than you do the right or something, and just like little bits what would take you like years to sort of learn. You can sort of already have a rough idea, and you can like go then from your own like thoughts and feelings, sort of thing. So that's really how we I ended up learning the track was mainly through a guy called Roddy Taylor, who is like the newcomer's guide.
Yeah, it's again, you're an absolute legend, Bailey. Like it just what you guys do and how you guys learn these open roads and just ride them so hard and so fast. And you hear it all the time. I'm such a fan of the TT. Like we had this conversation before, dude. That's my favorite race of the year. You know, and you hear them. I go back, let's say David Jeffries era, right?
Yeah.
2000, 2003. You hear him, oh, we're only riding 85, 90%. That's it. Nowadays, they're pushing
Bollocks.
110%. They're all in, right? It's
I
done
don't.
new. Go
Yeah,
ahead, sorry.
I don't care what anyone says. You do not ride anything other than 100%. Whether you're like on the day, your 100% ain't like your usual 100%. You're still riding it as hard as you can, and that I know for a fact that I don't have like an 80% or a 90%. I only know flat out, and whether or not I'm winning or in last place, I know I'm giving it my all. There's no in between sort of thing. It's one of those you can't do it. Like if you're riding say 80%, what's the point of being out there?
Hey, I, I agree, right? But you do hear him say that. You know,
Yeah.
they're on video saying that, and I'm just like, there's no way because I'm watching you on the track, and you're just like, but it's like I was where did I hear this from? I think it was in the Ragged Edge, this book I was listening to, all about the TT by Stuart Baker, and there's a section in there where they're at the TT, and it's Peter Hickman, which is a legend, and Josh Brooks. And Peter Hickman, there's a section, man, I forget what section it is, but he's like, yeah, man, I just point at the wall and pin it in fifth gear, and the bike slides out and comes around the corner, and Josh Brooks is like, what the
Yeah.
fuck, dude? Like you just like that again,
Yeah,
absolute
it's just
legends.
it's that I know which corner, like I don't know the name of it, but I know which one it means because there's always people sat on the wall as well, and it says that like you just sit there like fifth gear and whack the throttle, aiming for that rule, and they like to get as close to the fans as they can. I'm like, that's mental. Where do I sign up?
I love it, Bailey. I was gonna actually ask you about that. We have another comment from a good mate of mine, Alan Grayson. He's actually out there and goes to a lot of races. He says, "Evening, Chris, sounding rough." Thanks, man. Yeah, you guys. Yeah, I've been absolute sick, man. But the show must go on, right? He says, "Keep up the good work, Bailey." Um, yeah, that's absolutely amazing, man. So listen to Future Parent Northwest 200, Isle of Man TT.
Obviously at the minute they're just focusing on this year, but obviously they got another round of Oliver's coming up in July, and then we go straight out to Amoy in Ireland, which is going to be like the first, like another eye opener of a road race and that. So I can't wait like to get there and that. I went over in 22 after one of the club meetings, and just the atmosphere there is like it's so much different to like anything you get at like BSB or anything. It's like you can walk around the paddock and you'll see like Michael Dunlop and that, and you can speak to him. Where you go to like other places and you can't get within like 100 feet or whatever with the riders. But obviously, the plans what we are looking at will be. For next year is do pretty much similar of what we're doing this year, the 4 rounds at Oliver's Armoy, and then we want if we can get the funding together, try and get to the Manx Grand Prix, which is a bit later on in the year, at the Isle of Man, and just sort of try and go under the radar a bit. There's not, I feel like there won't be as much pressure. There's a bit more support to get you over there, and you're not got like as many cameras to be like shoved like in your face sort of thing, sort of like you do at the TT.
Yeah. No, yeah, I got a mate of mine that races at over there at the Mannix. My man Adam J. Bauer. Adam Bauer, man, big shout out to him. He goes out there and runs it. He's an absolute legend too. Again, you guys are just a whole nother level when it comes to that. But I guess Bailey, what I was trying to ask is, in the future, is the Northwest 200 and the TT in your future plans at some point?
Oh, 100%. If he can get the backing together and get into like a team or something to make it a bit more feasible, then I want to do everything. I want to do all the roads what are available. Like I don't want to just be known as he's a Oliver's Mount specialist or he's a this specialist. He can only ride that bike. I want to be able to ride each track like at a high level on each bike what we can sort of thing.
Yeah, well, listen, whatever you have, your dreams are. I hope you achieve it 8 times over. And you got a fan right here in America that'll be cheering you 110%, right? So let me ask you this: is there a way we can watch Oliver's Mount like on YouTube while it's live?
Uh, I There used to be obviously when it went away, it's sort of like the media coverage is like been very a bit quiet sort of thing. There's not really they're starting to do a bit of filming again now, and that, but I'm not really too sure of like where you can watch it on YouTube, but I'm not too sure like how like compared to like BSB or Amoy or whatever. Yeah, I don't think it's as like
It'll be
good
live.
like
Yeah.
quality,
Yeah. I'll
which
just
is
have
a
to
real
catch it's a
yeah
shame.
yeah it is. It's a real
Yeah.
shame because it don't there's so many people and privateers who are like starting out at road racing. It's a really ideal like place to go for it, and you're not getting that media attention really what you need to help kickstart it and get noticed.
No, yeah, absolutely. It is, and social media also plays a big part in trying to get sponsorship today. It's nothing like it used to be, since we got the phones and all that snazzy jazz, that goes along with it, man. So listen, I had some mates too that race Oliver Mount. Lizzie Whitmore, I assume you know her.
Yeah, well, Lissy used to race pit bikes and that with us, and obviously, they only live probably about, I think it's about half hour, 40 minutes down the road. I think it is sort of thing. But yeah, obviously, I've raced her numerous times, and that she's usually there on the 400 and be start off the back of that grid on the 500s and that. So we've had a few like battles and. Like when they're coming through to that 400 pack and that. So
Yeah, and so big shout out to Lizzie. She's in the FIM All Women's Championship right now, first year, and she's actually teammates with my other friend Mallory Dobbs that come from Moto America. So they're teammates together on the same team out there. It's exciting. I love it. It's good stuff. And then, of course, I assume you know my good mate Jake Marsh and Chloe Jones and
yeah,
Tom
well,
Neve and Benny
yeah,
Grayson.
I've I've like raced most of them and that. Obviously, I grew up with Chloe. Me and Chloe's been like brother and sister, like when we was pit biking and that. And then me and Benny used to race 600s and that against each other at Thundersport. And obviously Jake's and our friendship group and that in the paddock and that. So obviously I know most of them quite well.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I can't wait to come down there next year and we all get to hang out and meet and all that good stuff. Well, I met most of them, but there's several of them I haven't met yet. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun, man. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. So let me ask you this. How do you train and prepare for a race?
Well, to be fair, like, I spent until I got my new job, I was like very heavy on training. at the start of the winter, I'd be going to boxing about 3 times a week, and then I'd be going to the gym, and like on top of that, so I'd end up doing like 5 days, and then probably do a bit of a cycle or something. But since the start of my new job, I've been actually fairly relaxed on my training. I've not really done too much. I'll get out on a push bike every now and then, but obviously because my job's like quite like heavy lifting and like manual labor sort of thing, I'm never really uh, like tired of like I've always doing something, so I'm not letting the physical side of things slip.
Yeah,
But I'm
no,
just quite relaxed to be fair with my training, and it don't really seem to hinder me too much. And when it's like that, it's hard for me to get back into a situation where I've got to get to a gym, I need to do that and that. But obviously, I always try and train when I can. But
yeah.
obviously, we're just been busy.
I mean, in the job you do, like you said, it's physical work anyway, so you're always burning calories and on the move too. So that helps, right? Absolutely. Let me ask you this: do you have any like certain things you do to prepare for a race? Like, I know it's kind of it's not the same question. It sounds like it, Bailey. Like when you're in the paddock and you got 10 minutes before you go out, or an hour, but before you're going out, do you like listen to certain type of music? Do you do certain type of exercise to warm up? Left boot on before your right boot, stuff like that.
Yeah, well, obviously, the only music I listen to is country music, so I'll whack a bit of that on, and that. But no, obviously, the main thing is like probably about 10 minutes before the race, like I'll probably end up in the caravan toilet about probably 6 times just trying to go, and that. And sometimes obviously it's a sickness thing, obviously, which we've been working on this year to try and get rid of, and it seems to have worked for this second round. But yeah, I've always been a well. It's started really when I had my crash and I've like damaged my finger on my left hand. It's like left boot on first, left glove on first, and everything. And like even if I accidentally put my right glove on first, I will take it off to put the left one on first and stuff like that. It's weird, like the things what you do to like have to do to feel like you're actually able to go and race is like quite mentally like challenging, really.
Yeah, yeah. People, it's funny because all riders have their own certain techniques and what they do, and I think it's fascinating. It is because you guys prepare for the same battle, but in a completely different way, right? Some don't listen to music, some listen to hard rock, some listen to music intros like movie intros like the Spartans, right? The 300 movie, just to get them hyped up. Some people don't matter what they put on first. They're just like, I just wing it. One of my favorite ones is my buddy Nolan Lampkin. I was like, man, dude, do you do anything? He's like, nope, I really don't give a shit on how I put all my gear on. He's like, but the only thing I do is I wear my socks inside out. And I was like, why the hell you wear your socks inside out? He's like, because when you put your socks on and normally and it has that where they're sewn in the front of them, they get up in your toes sometimes. I was like, I can't stand that. And he's like, yeah, that's why I wear my socks inside out. And so ever since then, I wear my socks inside out too. So anybody listening, try to wear your socks inside out. It's really does make a difference.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's
that's
also
go
uh,
ahead.
we have this thing in the family like we never get on a bike or whatever if you have holes in your socks because it's always bad luck.
That's awesome. I was gonna ask you if you carried something lucky with you in your leathers or charm or whatever for luck. But there it is. No holes in my socks. Good.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's like the only thing really. Now recently, obviously lost a mate and that who used to race. So I have a little sticker on the back of my helmet, say a few bars to give it a kiss before like we put the helmet on and that, and it seemed to sort of brought us luck at the last round and that. So it's sort of, and we did have some like big moments as well where I know that it was him looking over us and like helping us save it sort of thing.
I love it, man. I love it. It's good stuff, man. Good stuff. Bailey, dude, this has been a lot of fun. Listen, dude, we're 45 minutes in this. I told you it was gonna go by so quick, right?
Yeah,
Dude, this is awesome, man. So listen, we talked about 2024 and next year 2025. You got the same goals and plans in place. Um, Listen, I want to get in my favorite part of the interview where I get to know Bailey on a personal level, right? So obviously I already asked you about music country. So let me ask you this. Who's your favorite country singer right now?
well, that's very hard to to put a pinpoint on at the minute. But obviously, when I was growing up, it was always Colt Ford.
Colt
Uh,
Ford. Yeah, he's got good music.
yeah, it was always. It was more the music videos what did it for us because it was like a piss take out of a movie and stuff like that. And obviously, my uncle really got me into it because he lives out in Alabama. Like he moved out there when I was very young, and that's how we sort of got into the country music and everything.
Nice.
And it just always stuck with me like that music and that. So he definitely was my favorite. But I say now you got so many good artists and like songs. I just couldn't put one on it.
Now, I listen, I like country too. I used to not like it. My mom listened to it all the time, but country music's changed so much to what it used to be. Oh, excuse me. But a mate of mine, he listens. Do you have an iPhone?
Yeah,
All right. So on Apple Music, there's this country playlist called Fifth Gear.
yeah,
You should download it and check it out. Man, it's absolutely amazing. There's a bunch of songs on here, and there's not one that I hadn't heard that I don't like yet. They just all kinds of a lot of artists I've never even heard of. Some of them I do know, like Jason Aldean and Hardy. Um, yeah, but a lot of them I haven't heard, and it's really good. It's a really good playlist, Fifth Gear. So you should check that
yeah.
out. My wife, she likes Morgan Wallen, of course, who don't, right? Um, Hardy, and then I like Teddy Swims too. Have you ever heard Teddy Swims?
No, I haven't.
All right. Well, you have to check him out because he's
Yeah.
really good too. That's awesome, man. So let me ask you this: I'm a big audio book listener. Do you listen to any audio books or read?
Not really. Obviously, I like the idea of reading, but I'm dyslexic, so every time I try and read, I'll skip like 3 or 4 lines and like keep jumping around. So I just
Yeah.
usually look at the pictures if it's got it in.
Well, listen, I don't like to read neither. It puts me to sleep if I sit there and I try to read a book. It puts me to sleep. But I am, I'm almost done. Andy Ibbett, you know who Andy Ibbett is?
Yeah,
He's a good mate of mine, and he actually sent me this book, his new book right here. So I've been reading this, but I'm an audiobook listener too. I listen to a lot of audiobooks. And the last one I just told you about I listened to was The Ragged Edge by Stuart Baker, all about the TT, the highs, the lows, the ins and outs. It was an absolute brilliant book. And now I'm listening to he's got one on Valentino Rossi, of course, because to me he's the GOAT for sure. Um, but I listen to I mean, you name it, Bailey, as far as audiobooks, especially with road racing, I have all of them. Joey Dunlop, Michael Dunlop, John McGinnis, Ian Hutchinson, Casey Stoner, all Guy Martin. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Um, but the best one, not taking nothing away from none of them, Bailey, because they're all brilliant. They're all absolute proper mega books, and they're must buy, must read. All you guys should go check them out. No, this is not a paid advertisement. It's John Hopkins Leathered. That book is when you'll get into it. They're all like that. You get into it, you're like just one more chapter, but the way John Hopkins tells his story and don't leave nothing on the table. Where like he's like addicted to pain pills, the alcohol, smoking weed, and then go racing a MotoGP bike. Like man, it's like what, and that's what it just draws you in. And it's such a good story. So it's a book I highly recommend. And if you have not listened to it, Bailey, you should, because that's something. Because you listen to earbuds at work, right? You can put in earbuds and listen to music and stuff at work. Yeah,
yeah, 100% all the
yeah,
time.
there you go. You audio book, throw your earbuds in, and boom, there you go. And they're like 8 hours, so that's like your shift almost done. So boom, read a whole book, listen to the whole book, learn something new. It's absolutely awesome. As far as podcasts go, do you listen to any podcast?
Obviously, I listen to your podcast, and then obviously the main one I listen to is the Chasing the Racing one, obviously with Dom Herbertson and that. But other than like the racing ones, I don't really listen to much else sort of thing. I literally, if you was to like cut me in half, all it would say is racing.
Me too, right? And then of course off track, my buddy Dave Neal, that he has a podcast off track right here. I always get
Yeah,
it backwards. That's a really good one. Of course, I'm a huge fan of Tracing the Racing. I religiously listen to that one.
yeah.
But let me ask you this, man. How did you hear about my podcast?
Well, I was just like scrolling through Instagram and I see like obviously I'm really good mates with like Harry Cook and that. I've grown up with him and like trash and everything. And I see him on it. I was just like, what is this sort of thing? And then obviously I got onto your TikTok and that, and then I started watching a few videos and everything, and that was it really. Just sort of like started listening to a few and that, and obviously we got in contact, and here we are.
Yeah, I know, absolutely. And it's an absolute honor, man. Thank you so much, dude. I thank you so much. So listen, let me ask you this. Obviously, I see it on your hand, but this is a new question. I'm gonna start asking. Do you have any tattoos?
Yeah, but obviously I got my hand tattoo, and then I've got oh, there's the camera, a lion as well, sort of thing.
Oh,
So.
nice.
But also, I got that when I was freshly 18 and had a bit of money to spare, sort of thing, and that because I had some decent sponsors. But obviously, now I've just been too busy and paying for everything myself. It's sort of like I'd be like, oh, I want another one, and then it's oh, bang, completely gone over my head, and all of a sudden, it was 6 months down the line, and all we've done is like burn rubber and gas.
Yeah, facts, right? I want to get me another tattoo. Obviously, you see my Ducati one, and I just Ducati's always been my favorite bikes. I mean, you look at it, she's the most beautiful Italian woman you've ever seen. Whatever model it is, the 748, the 996, the 999, the 1098, all of them. You see them, you're like, oh my god, they're just absolute amazing. I've had a bunch of them. I still got one, and of course, uh, wrong one. My mate Marco Simicelli. Um, I got his, and then I got a Valentino Rossi tattoo on my back. The sun, the picture of the sun, where the sun, and he made that face with the nose ring and the and then I have a couple that I regret getting that I'm gonna get covered up, but we won't get into that. That's coming up, right? I'm gonna cover all them up. You make stupid mistakes, and it is what it is. You should have listened to your mother. That's what my mom said. You should have listened to me. Blah blah blah. Okay, yeah, you're right. Absolutely,
Yeah, but that's all part of the fun. Like you
it
gotta
is.
like the way to have fun is to not listen to people and learn from your mistakes, sort of thing.
It's part of living, Bailey. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's what makes you feel most of the alive too, besides riding a motorcycle. For sure. So let me ask you this. What's your worst habit?
Racing motorcycles.
That's your best habit. What are you talking about? It's the best drug in the world.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't really like overly know. To be fair, I'd probably say well maybe going out like drinking or stuff like that. Like probably do well. I'm not too bad at the minute, but every now and then I'll just go through a stage where I'll go out all the time, or my mates will be like, "Oh, what are you doing tonight?" And then we'll go to the pub. We'll have like 3 or 4 or 10 sort of thing, and
I
then
was gonna say 3 or 4, 18. Yeah, we're good.
yeah, and that. But no, it's just I mainly like I say I'm just like very a hyperactive person, and I'll do stupid stuff. So we'll go and do that, and then we'll be like driving down the road in the mate's van or whatever, and all of a sudden I'll just pull a handbrake up while we're driving, and then like we'll nearly die in that. But yeah, I don't really, apart from the drinking, there's not really like a bad habit or anything like that. What I do.
What's your favorite beer?
Uh oh, Guinness, the Irish drink.
I love Guinness too, man. Guinness is such a great beer, but Guinness, man, it's so heavy. I can only have a couple of them, right? Especially like if I'm hungry, I can't have a Guinness because if I
Yeah.
drink one or two Guinness, I just don't. I just wasted whatever $20 on food because I'm not going to eat it, right? Because I drank it. But yeah, I did Guinness. I agree with you. Guinness is in my top three, and then I had a beer out there that we don't have here in America. Oh, was it Madra?
Madry.
Madry. Oh my god, dude, that shit was good, Bailey. Do you like that?
I don't mind it. It's not my go-to, but I'll drink it.
Yeah, it's really good. That was, yeah. So I can't. Hopefully, one day, if you guys Madrid or Madrid or whatever hear this, man, send some down here to America because I know a lot of us would like it for sure. Listen, Bailey, tell us something we don't know about you at all.
Whoa, what is there what a lot of people don't really know about me? It's hard, really, because I'm just like a massive open book. There's not really much hiding going on. Obviously, I'm a hard worker. I love racing and stuff like that. I can't even hide like the fact like I sleep with fucking Highland cow Teddy and that because I'm that obsessed with like cows and stuff. But there's not really too much. What there's not really anything what people don't know because I'm just stupid.
No, you're not. You're absolute brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So listen, let me ask you this. If you can invite any three people, Bailey, to a track day, not just your mates, but anybody, whether it was Valentino Rossi, Giacomo Agostini, even movie stars, country singers, whoever it is, what three people you bring into your track day?
Well, first of all, I have to have my dad there. Like, I, he's just obviously a legend to me. Like, obviously, he's the one what his mates made it all happen to begin with. So that'd be him. Uh, Definitely Joey Dunlop because he's just a legend. Like, although Michael has beaten his record now, he'll always be the king. Uh, and I think I'd have to go with Mark Marquez just because he's an alien.
Listen, uh, my whole mindset's changed since Rossi retired. I used to really dislike Mark Marquez because of the whole rivalry, right? Same thing with, Jorge Lorenzo and Rossi and all that. And if you're a huge fan of somebody, you tend to dislike the other people that they're battling against. Like, not everybody, but especially Marquez and Jorge. But since Rossi's retired, my whole mindset's changed. Whereas I look at him different now. Like Marquez, you're right. He's an absolute alien. He's a genius in everything he's done. Uh, he is super fast and super talented. Everybody knows that. And to what he's done, especially this year on a Grassini bike, is absolutely amazing. Overcoming all those injuries and his broken arm, where he almost had to retire the diploma in his eye, and he come back. It's yeah, he's an absolute legend, man. And I think it would be cool to hang out with Mark Marquez for a day for sure, ride on the track. Whether it was on little Honda Groms or Z125s, who cares? Let's go. It'd be a lot of fun.
I
Um,
don't think it matters what bike it was. He would like how he rides is he's alien on anything and he's fast. I think like
yeah,
you could put me on a Honda Superbike and him on a little 125 and he'll still kick my ass.
100%, bro. So, mate, that's your favorite racer in GP right now is Mark Marquez.
It's hard to. I've not really got a favorite rider because there's just so many good talents there. But you,
Yeah.
I want a win sort of thing. But I think the most thing about Marquez is I just want to see him get the ninth world title and hopefully a 10th or something. 'Cause I think as a fan, you want to see the records broken, and I think that's why there's so much hype around the TT this year because there is that chance for the record to be broken, and then it got broken, didn't it?
Dude, I was for the whole fortnight, which America fortnight is 2 weeks. It's mental to me. The TT Plus every year before the TT Plus come out. Of course, the only way we could really watch it was online, Google it, or YouTube, or buy the DVD. Um, unless you flew out there to the UK and then you could watch it, right? But yeah, it's such an emotional race. And it's so different than every other race. It's like Bailey, you show up and let's say you're gonna do two or three bikes, three or four bikes on that fortnight, man, you jump off one, jump on the other like that. There's no time to get acclimated. It's legends, absolute legends. It's the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. Well, it's on my
Yeah.
bucket list. I'm definitely coming to the TT one year. It's definitely on my bucket list. Have you ever been to the TT live?
I've not been over there to watch it, but I've been over there and that to visit some mates and that will be used to race against and that, and done a few laps and everything in the car. But it's one of those things I've always wanted to go watch it, but now
I
obviously
want
I
to
don't
go
want to
race
keep,
it.
yeah, I don't want to keep pushing it back, sort of thing. If I'm going over there, I'm going over to race.
Love it, dude. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I got just we're on the TT. We'll stay on that real quick. The TT, man, you're right. There's just so much hype. To me, it's hype every year. I don't care. But yes, it was extra hype this year because dude, Michael Dunlop, dude, we're lucky in our lifetime that we got to see it happen. That we
Yeah,
actually got to see Joey Dunlop. Well, I did race too as well, and then Michael and Robert, and then get to see it stays in the family. I mean, that's I have no words, right? I mean, that's just I don't foresee anybody else in our lifetime or your kid's lifetime beating that record. I don't. I think it'll
no,
be a
because
long time. Yeah.
it's not over, is it?
No, no. And every year they get faster and faster, like 130 miles an hour on a 600. I was like, holy shit. Like,
Yeah. Well, Hickey was on for 137 before he binned it at Ginger Hall this year, didn't it?
yeah, dude. Big shout out to the man, Peter Hickman. I hung out with Peter. Excuse me. When I went out there, I got there on a Tuesday because I left Monday. When I was there, I was on a Tuesday because I left Monday night. Anyway, I woke up. I already Googled HRC was because I stayed in Louth at Kinnick Park, and HRC was like 11 minutes or 9 minutes away, and Peter Hickman was like 11 minutes away. So I called because I wanted to go down there and take pictures of HRC of John McGinnis's TT bikes. Like I just want to take pictures and maybe buy a jacket or a hoodie or something, right? A body warmer.
Yeah.
You guys call those Gillettes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and they told me straight up, nope, unless you have business, you can't come in and take pictures. I was like, okay. So I called down there to Peter Hickman's, and yeah, they're like, yeah, come on down. I was like, oh, American, I just got here. I will blah 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 all this, right? So I pull up, got a cabbie, pulled up, got out the car, and I forget the guy's name. I got his picture, man. We got a couple pictures together, but he comes out there and meets me. He's like, you must be the American. I was like, woo, let's go. He's like, holy shit, your energy's just retarded, right? Oh, but he didn't tell me that freaking. I heard that a lot when I was at Cadwell Park. My energy was just intense, and I was a breath of fresh air, because I was just hype the whole time. That's how I always am. But I go in there. He didn't tell me Peter Hickman standing inside there. I cut the corner and boom. And dude, I just wanted to bow down on the ground, like, dude, the king, but he was super cool, super down to earth. He invited me back to his bike night because he just moved to his new building, had a bike night happening, and got to meet his dad. And then that whole weekend, man, every time I seen him, he'd give me fist pounds and say hi. And his dad would see me, come up to me, give me a hug. It was the best race weekend I ever had in my life. Absolutely. And then he had his 137 mile an hour, 136 mile an hour BMW sitting in there. It was, yeah, man, absolute legends. It's cool too, because when you get to meet them and you see how down to earth they are, that they are superhuman, but they're just like me and you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And that's what makes it even better, right? So listen, I'm gonna ask you this, since we're still on the TT. Of course, Joey Dunlop had the record for how long was that record Joey had?
Well, he passed away in 2000, didn't he? So
So
24
24
years.
years. Yeah, I think you're right. 24 years, dude. And that's just absolutely amazing. Um, yeah, it was a great weekend. And then, dude, big shout out to my mate Davey Todd. Finally got 2 wins, right? That was absolutely impressive.
Yeah. But it was always coming, wasn't it? Like, just the way he was last year, he got unlucky with it, and then obviously switching to the BMW this year, he's been on fire. And I could see it was coming. Obviously, I didn't quite see the senior coming. I thought that was either going to be Hickman or Dunlop, but it's fine, nice to have someone different.
Another alien coming to play, right? Yeah, it is, because all he's going to do is elevate the bar and push everybody else even harder. Yeah, dude. Listen. I don't really have a favorite TT rider. I love them all. They're all my favorites. I'll put it to you that way. All of them, from Davy Todd to Peter Hickman to Josh Brooks to you name it, right? They're all my favorites. Joey Thompson, which is a mate of mine, I had him on here. It's all my friends that race. You guys are my favorite. Not Mark Marquez, not Pedro Acosta, which is absolutely amazing, right? I'd rather support you guys because I know you guys on a personal level and emotionally involved, right? Versus somebody I don't know that's made it and that's got the millions of dollars. So yeah, absolutely, man. But the TT, man, I want to go so bad, dude. I do. So let me ask you this then, Bailey. In your personal opinion, there's a couple on here. I'm only going to give you two to choose from this answer. In your personal opinion, who had the greatest TT comeback ever, injury wise? Connor Cummings or Ian Hutchison? That's a
Jesus,
hard one,
don't
ain't it?
don't ask it. Yeah,
He's like, what the hell kind of question is this?
you you picked the two biggest guys. What I've had the worst injuries, but it's definitely hard to say because how Connor ever survived that crash is like beyond me.
Yeah,
But Hutchie come back uh, and then was winning races again before getting injured again. So
yeah.
it's very hard. I think just through what Hutchie's been through, I'd say Hutchie's probably had the biggest one because obviously Connors were bad enough, but he only had that one major injury. Whereas Hutchie had quite a few setbacks on the same leg. So
He did. Absolutely, he did. And to been through to what he did, and he raced this year. He come back and race this year. So it's yeah, dude. Hutchie's he's the only one to this day. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong on this. He's the only one to this day to win 5 races in one.
1
Right?
week.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm
what
pretty
did
sure.
Dunlop? What did Dunlop do? Super Sport. Super Twin, Super Sport. Yeah, I think so. I don't think Dunlop quite managed it this year.
No, so he's still got that record, 5 races, and it's which is
It,
absolutely amazing.
but then it's different again now because you got more opportunity. Well, you got. I think there's 10 races in total. Obviously, 2 of them are sidecar, so you got 8 opportunities to do it.
Yeah, I mean, but dude, to sweep 5 of the 8, right? That's like,
Mm,
yeah. But back then when he did it, there was
only
there.
5.
Yeah, there was only 5 out of 5. That's what I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
absolutely mental, man. It is. It is,
But then
dude.
you look to the days of Joey and that, where they only had 3 races at a time. So it's one of those, the records are there, but it's like, what if Joey had the same amount of races in a week as what we do now, sort of thing? Would the record be even higher, or would it still be the same? It's like it's so hard to like actually judge everyone, sort of thing.
No, absolutely, you're right. Let me ask you this, Bailey. If you had your own personal island, what racetrack would you have on your island?
You got to say the TT, ain't you?
Dude, that's you're the first one that said that, dude. That's absolutely, yeah. The TT would be. I always say Cadwell Park. That would be my track I have at the island. Would be
That's the
Cadwell.
second one for me because that's my like home track as it is, sort of thing. But if you had to have one track, it would have to be TT because it's got everything, and it's got the elevation changes, it's got off camera corners, it's got on camera corners, it's got blind, you got your trees, you got the hedges, you got houses. It's all fast at the end of the day. So
Yeah, listen, you're absolutely right, Bailey. That's great, dude. Yeah, the TT would be, yeah, absolutely. And look, dude, Jack Knights. What is up, Jack? He says Bailey Harker looking cute.
little rat.
Yeah, Jack's absolutely. He's a legend too, man. So
He's got a fit mum as well, from what I hear.
he's got what?
A fit mum as well, from what I hear.
I don't know. I haven't seen her. That's awesome. Let me ask you this, man. Who's your favorite comedian?
Uh, it's either got to be Ricky Gervais or Jimmy Carr.
Dude, Ricky Gervais is he's a hoot. He's so fucking hilarious. Um, let me ask you this: what is your favorite food, Bailey? Like your favorite meal? Favorite food is such a broad question. Mexican, Italian, but what's your favorite meal of all
Uh,
time?
Full English breakfast.
Full English breakfast, man. That's Jack Knight's put a bunch of laughing emojis. Jack, dude, you need to hit me up. Um, listen, I first got there, London. My mate Daniel Parker. Do you know Daniel Parker? I heard of Daniel Parker. He's a rider mindset coach.
Yeah, I think I have heard of him. Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's a good mate of mine, and he picked me up, and he's like, "Dude, you got to get a proper English breakfast." Before he took me to the train to get to Louth. I was like, "Okay." He's like, "Have you ever heard or tried black pudding?" I'm like, "Nope," but I'll get some and try it out, right? Uh, yeah. So everything else was brilliant, absolutely amazing, but the black pudding, bro,
No.
Bailey, nah, not me, not my style, bro. I took a big old bite and took two chews into it and spit it out my napkin and looked at him and was like, "What the fuck is this, Daniel? Like,
Yeah.
what is this? This is horrible." But
Once you know what's in it, you don't want to eat it. Like I've never actually tried it, but I know what's in it, so it just automatically puts me off.
no, and then y'all's brown sauce you guys have out there. It's good. There's certain brands. There's one brand I tried I did not like, but there was another brand I tried that I really did like. It was good. It's kind of like barbecue sauce in a way. Um, yeah, it's good stuff, man. So let me ask you this: Are you a DC or a Marvel guy?
To be fair, I've never really watched any action films or anything like that. Like the only sort of super like hero film like what I've watched has really been Deadpool.
Deadpool's he's good. So
Yeah.
obviously you've never watched Star Wars, then, right?
I did when I was a kid, but not really like growing up. Like I think I got to like probably about the age of like 10, and then everything was just racing. I just want all I watch is racing. Like I never sit down and watch TV unless it's to watch the British, the Wilds, or anything like that.
Listen. It's okay. So listen, I'll bring it back to food real quick. Are you a pineapple on pizza guy?
No.
No, I am. I
Straight.
like pineapple on pizza.
I don't like pineapple, so like it definitely I don't want it on my pizza.
I hear you. Then you definitely wouldn't, right? So let me ask you this: what's the best advice you ever received as far as racing?
Best advice. Shut your eyes and go for it.
Dude, pin it. That's it. Pin the gas, baby. Love it. I love it. Are you into any other sports? Like, do you watch football? And no, Americans, I'm not talking about the handball
No.
you guys call football. Real football is soccer. Did you ever like watch soccer or basketball or anything?
No, I used to play like hockey when I was a kid, sort of thing. But obviously, when I started getting knee injuries and that with that, and then training started clashing with the bike racing, and I was ended up missing matching because of racing. So I ended up giving that up, sort of thing. But from that, like I did a bit of like gymnastics and that when I was a kid, sort of thing, and everything. But other than hockey is literally the only thing on my mind was racing, and I don't even watch any sports now. I can't. I don't even watch that anymore, sort of thing. But yeah.
So do you watch any road racing at all? Like, do you watch Moto America? Obviously, you watch PSB, but do you watch Moto GP World Superbike?
Yeah, I watch everything I can. To be fair, I even started watching a little bit of speedway. I see. Uh, try and watch all the flat track and obviously the like motocross and that in America and everything sort of thing. But yeah,
So, uh, BSB's looking like a great year this year, ain't it? There's been what 7 different winners already. It's been
I
crazy.
can't
Yeah,
too many.
it, it's it's a proper year. It is, and even over here in Moto America, it's been it's been a great year. I think it's a great year all across the board and all racing this series. You know, Top Rack's absolutely, yeah, killing it on that BMW.
I
Um,
think this year's the first year they've had it where everything is totally unpredictable, sort of thing. Like before, Toffright's career was over when he was going to the BMW, but obviously he's turned right around, and now you never know if he's going to win. Batista, Bulliger, hopefully Ray will get back up there and win because that'd just be mega. But it's so hard to like if you was like a betting man, you would like not want to bet on our sport this year at all.
no, that's something they just started here in America too. As the races are going, you can actually gamble on road racing. Which is, yeah, I haven't done it yet because I know I wouldn't lose, but man, I just don't. I wouldn't. It's not a door I want to open and go down. Right, gambling on road racing, that'd be
No,
crazy.
the only thing like gamble like there's a couple people I know that crash quite a bit, and there's only a couple people like if I was to ever put money on like racing or whatever, it'd be putting it on them to crash because it'd be pretty much a guaranteed winner sort of thing. But
I
yeah,
love
I
it,
try
dude.
not to because at the end of the day, if it don't pay off, you're wasting your money, sort of thing. What
Yeah,
could be going towards the next race meeting?
our tires and gas and all that travel and all that good stuff. But that's
Yeah.
one thing you guys got that is it's the best in the world where you guys are because all the racetracks are with what 8 hours driving wherever you are in the UK. Dude, it would take me 3 days to drive from 2.5 days to drive from here to California.
Mm. That is one thing we are quite lucky over here with like how close everything is, and I'm quite lucky in where I am in the UK that within like a 3 hour radius we've got like 90% of the BSB tracks. I think there's only uh
Navarro in
Frooks,
Spain.
yeah, there's only Navara, Fruxton,
And
and I
Croxton, yeah.
think Knock Hill, which are longer than 3 hours away, sort of thing. So
Yeah, that's brilliant, man. Absolutely. And like I said, I can't wait to come out there next year so we get to meet and greet and hang out. And but when I do come, I'm gonna bring some t-shirts and give out to my mates out there because I'm gonna get some more shirts made. Now I'll bring them with me and hook you guys up with stickers and all that cool stuff. Um, let, let, let me ask you this: Who's your celebrity crush, Bailey?
oh yeah, celebrity crush. Uh, Jack Knight.
I love it. Uh, I love it. He said Jack Knight. Um, great answer. Are you watching anything like on Netflix or Apple TV or anything? Any type of series?
And to be fair to you, I don't really get time because of work and everything, and try and get bikes and that ready. Everything's just flat out. When I do have a spare minute, I'm away working at BSB, and that's I the last time I watched something was probably 2 years ago, maybe.
I was gonna say if you do get a chance, dude, Ted Lasso is really good. Ted Lasso, it's a he was a football coach in America that they
Oh
brought out to the
yeah, I
UK to
think I've
do a
seen
soccer team.
clips of it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's brilliant. It really is. I love it. So, are you a PlayStation or Xbox guy?
Growing up, I always had PlayStation, but then when I turned 18, obviously most of my mates have Xbox, so I got an Xbox, and now obviously with working and everything, and my attention span, I don't really play anything.
Yeah,
The most my Xbox got turned on was to put the TT live on the on the TV.
I love it, man. I love it. I got PlayStation, but again, most of my mates got Xbox, so I'm gonna have to break down and buy me an Xbox so I can get on there and play with everybody like Harry Cook, and I got a bunch out here in America, Jillian Carrera and Avery and all of them. They Xbox, so I'm gonna have to give me an Xbox. Let me ask you this: What is your favorite bike of all time?
Favorite bike of all time.
Not something you race, but when you see it, you're like, one day I'm gonna have that bike. Like I want that bike. That's my favorite bike.
This like, sounds really stupid, but I've always wanted a Honda C90.
Dude, ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing
Yeah,
wrong with that at all.
Yeah, the granddad's got one. I was just like, the only thing. Well, I quite want his house as well, but obviously the only thing I really want left that, like, if he ever does pass away, is that Honda C90.
I love it. And I'm sure you'll get it, Bailey. I'm sure you will. Listen, dude, we're approaching an hour and 20 on this. Before we get off here, I got one more question I'm going to ask you, and then you can do all your shout outs, and I'll do mine. And then I need you to stay on with me for a minute. So we'll go ahead and do our thing for the next one. Um, if you could race on any team in any series in the world, what team would it be? What series would you race in? And who would be your teammate?
I know who my teammate would be. Well, I've got two what I'd want. Obviously, first of all, I'd want Ash as a teammate just because of, like, our brotherhood and that. And then the other one, just because, like, obviously all the support he's gave me and that, and he's absolutely mental and mega fast around the TT, is Matt Stevenson, the Flying Mullet. Uh, but teams, I'd probably have to say, like, the McCams team from last year, just because the Yamaha's a mega bike and that, and obviously knowing, like, Steve and everyone, it was like a really friendly team. So I'd probably have to pick them. And for me, the only race what there is to do is the TT.
I love it. You guys heard it first, dude. Jack, listen, TT is my favorite. It's the most beautiful thing you can ever see on two wheels. I keep telling people that, and I've had people hit me up, Bailey. I've had people hit me up going, "I can't believe you support the TT as much as you do." You know, there's been a lot of fatal accidents, and they should shut it down and blot. And how could you be okay with that? I'm like,
Yeah, but what
I,
the people don't see is the infrastructure it brings to the island. Like the amount, like it brings in like half the income for the island is through the TT, and people don't see that.
no, yeah, well, that and that, but this is what I tell people. I say, listen, I don't care what sport you play, whether you're a skydiver, a road racer, a closed course racer, a F1 driver. It don't matter what it is. There's risk in everything. Okay. But the people that do it, they accepted that risk. To them, that's the most beautiful thing that they're ever going to do. Right. So why not let them do it?
At the end of the day, everyone's their own person. Like, you could go out on the street and get hit by a bus and die. So what's, like, why not do something like you like enjoy? Like,
100%. 100%, Bailey. I'm with you, man. It's like, and this one guy, dude, he was giving me utter shit, dude. I'm talking about, like, dude, going off on my messenger. And I'm like, bro, dude, like, and finally, I didn't cuss him out or anything, but I was this close and I wanted to so bad. I'm like, look, this is all I'm going to say. I love it. There's millions and millions of people that love it. Okay. It's not going to stop. But if you're just so against it, just do us all a favor and just don't even watch it.
eh,
It's that simple. It's that simple, right? So, yeah. But yeah, Bailey, this has been an absolute proper mega time to have you on. Sorry, I don't feel that good, but yeah, I wanted to have this chat with you, man, because it's been a long time coming, and I appreciate
yeah.
all the love and support you give me. I appreciate everybody that watches this, all you guys' love and support, man. I used to be able to hold the heart thing up, and it would do a bunch of hearts. I had a new update, and I won't do it now. I don't know what the deal is. But listen, before we get off here, Bailey, tell everybody where they can find you at, where they can follow you on social media, and follow you and Asher's team in the BSB too as well.
So all my social medias are just Bailey Harker Racing, and that's on Instagram, Facebook. And then obviously to follow the Ash's team, you got obviously Ash Barnes on Instagram and Raceways and that on Instagram and Facebook. And yeah, that's about it, I think.
I love it. Again, absolute honor. And before we get off here, excuse me, big shout out to Bison. Again, if anybody's in the industry looking for a leather suit, whether you're a track day junkie, a road racer, a street rider looking just to be safe and get a full leather suit, look no further than Bison, bison.com. Join the herd. Use the discount code Pendergas 2024. Get 10% off everything they have there. Big shout out to my RD Racing and my good buddy Jake Marsh. He's an absolute legend, up and come legend, just like Bailey is, right? Just like Asher is, just like Jack Knights. But he has a Club 45. Go sign up. Bailey, do you have a club?
We used to have a Club 26, but obviously now it's just whatever people can do, sort of thing. Just like if anyone wants to support, just get in contact with us and we can work out something and we'll get your name on the bike and that.
There you guys go. So what are you waiting on? Go hit Bailey up on Facebook, Instagram, and all that good stuff. He's an up and coming legend. Help him out because all the help is much appreciated. Our sport is so expensive. Anything helps. I don't care what it is, 50 pounds, 30 pounds, 100 pounds. It all helps at the end of the day. Big shout out to my man Martin at the Clothing Kings. Do you have people that make your shirts, Bailey?
They used to, but obviously this year we've not really got much like sponsors, so we've not got like team clothing for mine. But obviously with Ash, obviously everything's the official Yamaha and that. So, but we have been looking at like for next year for clothing and that. So
I'm gonna hook you up right here with my man, the Clothing King. He's out there in the UK. Martin Adams, the clothingking.co.uk, where you guys can sign up and get all your Pendergast merch. They got RD Racing, Luke Hedger, my man Jake the Snake, the Snakey, Jake Snakey. Yeah, Hardy, dude. Listen, you just stay on with me. You just down with me. But listen, also big shout out to the Flying Eyes Optics. So Jake, check these out. So I met this guy when I went to Road America, and he gave me these sunglasses, and he actually gave me a discount code for you guys. It's Pin the Gas 10, and you get 10% off. But these are the lightest pair of sunglasses. And I said, dude, you got to let me try them. It's just like anything. I got to try it out. And if I believe in it, then yeah, I'll work with you guys, right? But these are the lightest sunglasses I've ever had, and check these out. Like you can literally just like fold the arms up. They're made to everybody wears glasses up underneath their helmets at one point or a time. Shoot, there's a lot of road racers that wear sunglasses up underneath or eyeglasses up underneath their helmets, right? Because they don't wear contacts. You can get these in RX prescription too. It's called the Flying Eyes Optics. You get them in any styles, and I'm gonna tell you, they're so light and they're so comfortable. I forget that I'm even wearing them. I wore them. These are the only ones I've wore. Actually, since I got them, and I got like 15 pairs of Oakleys. So yeah, big shout out to them and Chef Eats Bailey. We have this guy out here, Jeff Servin and his wife and his other buddy. It's a food company called Chef Eats. They're pre-packaged meals you throw in a microwave for 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and they are absolutely amazing. You know, you see a lot of this stuff and you like, dude, chicken's gonna be dry, not juicy or tender. But Chef Eats, dude, it's listen, chefeats.com. You guys go check him out. He's super popular. It's only here in America. It's not over there in the UK, but you guys should man, that's a good idea. I need to start me some out there. Anyway, I need to think about that. But big shout out to Chef Eats. He is you guys in America know who he is. Go to chefeats.com and sign up. Best meals on the planet. Brought to you at the racetrack. Freeze drive, send them to your house. You throw them in your cooler, take them to the track. It just saves you from a grill and all this other stuff, right? And it's just as good as you're going to make at home, which says a lot. It really does. Big shout out to SFL Mini GP. You heard of Jillian Carrera, right? In the British Talent Cup.
yeah, well, my first like time meeting Julian was back 2017, I think it was. He come over and did a round in the little SM90s and that, and now we'll see seeing him do so well in the British Talent Cup, which is mega sort of thing. That obviously you guys having talent come over here and actually working out.
Yeah, dude, it's yeah. So big. So he come from SFL Mini GP. His dad runs it out here in South Florida. You guys know the deal. If you ever wanted to get into riding, you got a little daughter, a little son. You want to get them on the bikes. Not even thinking of a road racer future, but just want to get them involved in the sport or have the plan of being a road racer in the future. Look no further than SFL Mini. Listen, GP, they're absolutely amazing. We've had so much talent come out of there. We got them in British Talent Cup. We got champions here in America coming out of there. It's yeah, you guys go check them out in Vet2 Track. We have this guy out here. He's a good friend of mine, Jim Whitman. He has this program called Vet2 Track where he works with a bunch of veterans. So if I got any vet friends out there, go to vet2track.com, check them out, and simply amazing people. You guys will have a good time. He takes you to the track, and you get to, help a team out and ride and stuff like that. So it's absolutely amazing. A big shout out to Chris Parrish, dude. You guys know who he is, Ghetto Customs. So my buddy Chris Parrish, Bailey, he makes custom body work for your race bike. So dude, he made an SV650 look like the MotoGP Suzuki GP bike. It was absolutely amazing. He's got an Aprilia RS660 now. He does body work on it. And it's just, yeah, whole nother level. You guys know the deal. Ghetto Customs. Yeah, man. Listen, dude, this has been how can I forget my man BSB Barmy Army? You know Shane from BSB Barmy Army.
Yeah, I've seen his stuff and that on Facebook and everything like that. It's amazing what they're doing for the people in the paddock and that.
Absolutely. So if you guys haven't heard or dude, listen, just go to bsbbarmyarmy.com or check them out on Facebook. But listen, this has been a lot of fun. You guys stay tuned. I got another podcast tomorrow. But listen, it's been an absolute honor to sit down with my mate, Bailey Harker. You guys stay tuned for part 2 because there's so much more we got to talk about. Bailey, is there anything else you want to say before we get off here?
No, just thank you for having us and sitting down for a chat and that.
Listen, it's been an absolute honor to have you on this podcast. Looking forward to part 2. And again, thank you guys so much that watches this. And if you haven't had a chance yet, please go like and subscribe on my YouTube channel, Podbean, and all that good stuff. It helps me out a lot, and I appreciate and I love every single one of you guys. You guys are absolute proper mega. And yeah, until next time, I'll see you guys later. All right, Bailey. Boom.